how long had you known each other?
We've known each other just for a few years. We're neighbors.
Okay.
And they took us on this vacation under false pretenses.
Well, so you've known each other for a few years, and would you socialize?
Yeah, we were friendly. We went to block parties. We got to know them. We became friends.
Whose idea was the vacation?
The Bankses invited us.
All right, and was this, where did you guys go?
We went to Lake Arrowhead.
And what, rented a house?
Yeah, we actually decided to split a vacation rental, 50-50.
Okay. And so before you got there, you had shelled out the $2,036.50?
We paid him, correct, and through Venmo.
And how long was the stay going to be?
A week.
Okay. Had you ever traveled with them before?
No, first time. I mean, we decided to do this just to get to know them more and enjoy our time.
Wow, when you go big. Like I don't want to travel with people I do know really well. I certainly don't want to travel to get to know them really well. But in any event, so you guys go, and tell me about the trip. The first day, how does it go?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
It was lovely. It was nice. We get there. We check in around noon. We brought our food in. We sat down. Around dinner time, we started drinking and eating, having laughter and fun. And that's when things kind of went a little haywire.
What went haywire?
Yeah, so we were there having a great time, joking, kind of the way we've done at the parties that we've been to on the block. And they throw out the idea like, hey, we should swing. And they introduced this, and we were a little bit taken aback. We looked at each other briefly, and were a little bit abhorred by it.
But hold on one second. And so what did you say?
At first I was like, okay, but then I didn't take it seriously. I took it as a joke. We're all drinking, so I was like, okay, they're jokingly doing that.
Exactly what was your reaction is my question.
We kind of took it as a joke, and we sort of responded jokingly.
So you decided to play it off as a joke because that would be less awkward.
I didn't really want to make them feel uncomfortable either. Like, yeah, just laugh it off.
We were going into dinner. We wanted to have an enjoyable time.
All right. Did you think who was the one who said it? He did or she did?
Jesse did.
Okay, and Jesse is... Okay, so she says that, and then what?
Well,
you go to dinner?
I wasn't shocked, and then just looked at my husband, and then we looked back at them, and I laughed it off as a joke.
Okay, I got it.
We enjoyed dinner, and then
enjoyed dinner, and then what?
After dinner, we were cleaning up, and they decided to go off to bed, and so they actually went upstairs where the rooms were.
Yeah.
There's how many bedrooms here?
There's 3 bedrooms. They were in the master bedroom. We had the smaller room, which is
across the hall.
Exactly.
Okay. So you guys go upstairs, and what do you see, Mr. Hill?
So we go into our room. Their bedroom was down the hall. We go into our room.
Is their door closed, or you haven't approached their door yet?
We hadn't approached their door. We just were going off to bed.
Okay.
We said goodnight, basically, and we were going to sleep.
You go upstairs, and what do you see?
So we see her in a negligee sitting on the bed.
On your bed?
Our bed.
Our bed.
Our bedroom.
Right.
Waiting for us.
Yeah, this was highly unexpected. I thought that was a mistake. I wasn't sure what was going on. And then Greg walks in butt naked right into our room, to the shock of my wife and myself. We were totally surprised. We were not expecting this. After a joking conversation and a great dinner, we were having some drinks, but this was extreme.
What'd you do?
My husband was angry. I wasn't shocked because my husband's the only man I've seen for 20 years naked in front of me. So I was like, what's going on here?
What'd you say? What did you do?
We told them to get out.
Okay.
We're like, we don't want them in our room.
So you tell them, get out, and what do?
They did get up off the bed. Jesse got off the bed fast. Greg started.
Did they look embarrassed?
Yes and no, but they were like, they apologized, and they thought, they were like acting like they thought we were going to be into it, and they said, we're sorry that we didn't mean to do this to you, but we're like, it was just everything happening at once.
So what'd you end up doing? Did you leave in the morning?
We left in the morning, yes.
And you want your money back?
We want our money back, yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was awkward. What would you guys do in this situation? I have no idea. How can you be so mistaken? She totally misread the cues. Obviously, this plaintiff couple, they were just being friendly and were trying to maybe get to know each other better as friends and be friendly and have a couple they can go out with just on a friendly basis. But how could you be so mistaken? Obviously, you have life experience. You've been through stuff. You do communication a lot in the years that you've been on Earth. How can you misread the cues so terribly wrong? Let's go back.
Let me hear from you first, Jesse. What happened? You misread the cues?
Yes, thank you. Misread the cues.
Don't thank me. It couldn't be more obvious. What exactly had been... Oh, my God.
You know, it wasn't just on this instance. I've known Kathy for a while. She comes over to my house for a bottle of wine after work. We've intimated this situation before. And
How so?
just girl talk over wine. You know, you've had a few glasses. She has talked before about...
I have had a few glasses of wine with my girlfriends all of my life. And I have to tell you that never once did I proposition their husbands or suggest that we swap, and nor did they. So when you keep saying, oh, just girl talk over wine, no, there has to have been more than that. Exactly what did she say that made you think?
I thought she was flirting with me. With me. I thought she was flirting with me. She's made jokes several times about
Like what? Be specific.
Lipstick lesbian. She said that to me several times.
What? How? How?
Just in that term. She's talked about how beautiful women are and what beautiful bodies women have, and I really thought she and her husband would be into this.
How long have you all been swingers?
Oh, for probably several years we've done that now.
What's several years? I don't know what that
about
is.
4 or 5 years. Our children have moved out of the house, and we just kind
You're
of...
looking for something to do?
Yeah, kind of.
What did they ever say to you, Mr. Banks, that would make you think that they would be into it?
Well, we were drinking, we were having fun, and we were just talking literally about, you know, wouldn't it be kind of fun if we all kind of got together? And they said, well, let's take it to the next level. And we're going, the next level? What's the next level from here? And so that's how we then took it, as we've got to, this is kind of, all right, this is kind of what we hope to happen.
Just take it to the next level?
Yes.
Just that phrase?
As friends.
What?
how
That
we proceeded.
he said, let's take it to the
They
next
said
level?
that, yes, we were just kind of very flirty. They were touching kind of a little bit more, you know, than usual, on the hands and that kind of stuff. And honestly, we were on vacation. They were excited about being there with us. We talked a lot about just that we were going to enjoy this time together,
You know,
get to know each
other
other
people
better.
might enjoy it without, you know, having an orgy. Like,
Yeah.
in other words,
We're
so
not having
far,
orgies, though.
well, it's kind of an orgy, isn't it? Like all
it's-
four of you together?
We just kind of, well, we can mix and change.
It's adult playtime.
I
Adult
thought
playtime.
that's what orgy meant. What does orgy mean?
Orgies involve maybe a lot of more people and that kind of
What's a
thing.
minimum for an orgy?
That I don't know.
Good Lord. I think I've seen everything and then I haven't.
The judge has a point. How many is too many? I think everyone has to answer that question for themselves, but for me personally, 3 is a crowd. And I know the defendants keep saying that the plaintiff used to come over and they used to have the girl talk and a few glasses of wine in the process, and the plaintiff was complimenting how beautiful women's bodies were, that it's totally normal. We all see beautiful women that we admire, and there is absolutely nothing wrong expressing the compliment to another girl that you thought you were friends with. It doesn't mean anything past that. I don't know how the defendant could misread the cues so badly. And maybe if you're open in your marriage to different adventures like that, maybe you should ask more questions or get to know the other couple before you pop up naked in their bedroom. Let's go back.
It would seem to me that it would behoove you to be really explicit with people before you pop up naked or semi-naked in their bedroom. Like, you would think there would be a little more discussion about this. And it's important what I'm saying, because if I'm right and you clearly read it wrong, and you clearly, this was not consenting adults. Let's assume then that someone shows up, I'm on vacation with somebody and they show up naked in front of me. Am I gonna stay on that vacation? Of course I'm not.
But we were very clear about, oh, we're sorry, no big deal,
Hey,
everything's
no, but the bad thing
okay.
happened. Oh, who's gonna, and what? And they're just supposed to pretend it didn't happen?
I was really hoping for a conversation. They left abruptly. They
You
just
were
let-
hoping for something more than a conversation, Toots.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
I mean, I'm giving you advice on how to swing. It feels so unnatural. Let's just talk about contracts, all right? If you think that something's on the table for somebody, you better be darn sure that you have a meeting of the minds on this, because otherwise you've ruined the vacation, and they would be entitled to pull out because this is not what they had in mind. You see, they end up. It may not have been your intention. It doesn't matter. I believe 100% that you believed that the four of you were all going to have sex together that night.
Yeah. Yes.
That doesn't matter. You keep thinking that that's a defense. You know, if I go on vacation with you and then you do something really, like you pull out LSD, all right, that wasn't on the table. I didn't consent to that. If I go on vacation with you and your husband prances around naked in front of me, I did not consent to that. That is not what I had in mind. So the issue was the conduct on your part egregious enough that they have a right to pull out. Even if it wasn't your intent, and I believe, I think you misread the cues colossally. And I think that this should not be the kind of thing that we rely on cue taking for. Cue taking can be in the initial part, but there better be some explicit agreement to things besides we're going to have fun. Because I got to tell you, I'm 62 years old. I've been having a lot of fun. And this has never come up. And not one person I said, oh, we're going to party today, we're going to have fun. Not one of them ended up naked with their pelotas in front of me. That has never happened. Verdict for the plaintiffs, $2,036.50.
It is very tricky on its own to travel with other couple that you don't know or you barely know or you think you know. Sometimes that even happens. How many of us, me included, went out with a couple or a group of friends and just to find out that you had a completely opposite dynamic when it comes to traveling? We actually ended up taking a day trip, a half a day trip to a museum with a friend of ours, and just to find out that we are completely different in the way we approach things, about how we see things, how we go about things. And we just ended up splitting and then meeting later on for the ride back home. But that was it, never again. And now my husband and I, we barely travel with friends of ours, like ever, just because we know we had that not so good experience. And without even added stress of this awkward situation here. And I don't blame the plaintiff for leaving the next morning. I would have probably left that same night, to be honest with you, and I do believe they were owed that money for the trip. Do you guys agree with the judgment? Please put it in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching.